This video is extremely important. Keep in mind that they're changing my voice. So I'm from California, and the shooter was part of a group that has certain beliefs, we'll say. I hate to use the word cult because it's very stigmatized, but he's part of a group. And I have a lot of information about that as well. I'm going to be making another video about that. Let's stick to the core facts here that everyone can understand and connect. So one of the reporters for the news, their name was Bradley Blackburn. And in a recent video where I've been connecting these events to the psychological operation against me, the reporter's name was Inclan and Blackburn. And I pointed out at that time that reporter's name was more than just suspicious. It's part of a pattern that we're seeing here. Things are being done in a very technological way. I'm here in the Silicon Valley where it's very obvious that technologies are being used to manipulate things on a large scale. Keep in mind also that I'm a brain surgeon's son, and I'm not just a top martial artist. I have a challenge that's been going for 12 years where I offer up to $200 million of compensated for the psychological operation against me, which should be easy enough to attain if people rally to me, and $100,000 if they can beat me, and $50 is a show, pay nothing if you lose. So that, as a brain surgeon's son, as a humanitarian son, it makes me somebody with the highest social status in this society, somebody whose social status to the average fair-minded person is above the president's, and somebody whose social status to the propaganda people is not above the president's, but is very significant nonetheless. That's very important to note that, because I'm not some crazy conspiracy theorist. I've been dealing in facts. I'm not just somebody who made a challenge. I made the most significant martial art challenge in history, and I'm from the royal family of Dr. Martin Luther King's tribe, the Igbos. My father came here penniless from Nigeria, worked his way up to become a brain surgeon. All these are verifiable facts. So when we look at this case, you might ask, well, why is it connected to the psychological operation against you? Well, why did they kill Martin Luther King and Malcolm X? Why did they go after the Black Panthers, who are also from California? The main groups of them, what have you. It has to do with social relations, social clubs that social engineer and try to control who socializes with who. And there's millions of members of various groups that are concerned with these things, right? Fraternities, and who fraternizes with who, and who's seen as ideal. So the person looked like they were part black and part Japanese. I've been bringing up this idea of Kuro Obi, meaning black belt in Japanese and in Chinese and the martial arts systems, right? And Obi means King Heart Hut Essence Center Temple Core in the Igbo culture. And Chi, which is also an Asian word, also comes from Africa, and it's also an Igbo word as well. And the word Igbo is Obi spelled backwards, so the black belt points to me in the first place. And the most ideal thing in society is the top martial arts. Think about Revelation 19, the heavenly warrior defeats the beast, okay? And so it's very clear that martial arts are lifestyles. Martial is marital scrambled, and I, Christ, am the top martial artist, the champion of God, seen in Psalm 19, the bridegroom, the champion. Martial is marital scrambled, the bridegroom, marriage. So by now you should see that I'm right, and I'm not some kind of Flanders person, Joel Osteen, not some super church idiot, not some con man. By now you should know that beyond a reasonable doubt. So we've definitively have shown that there's a connection between this case and me, no matter how you slice it. The person was somebody with a Japanese name, if they weren't Japanese, but almost certainly were by the looks of them, and they were black in Japanese, and I've been talking about Kuro Obi Black, but I connected the Blackbird and the Inclan. Okay, so this case, like these other cases I've been talking about recently, are very much connected to me. And I have a whole playlist, which doesn't even cover all the videos that connects these mass shootings to me. So why are they doing this? Because the people who are doing this are disproportionately, at least, in Greco-Roman societies. And it's a long story why Greco-Roman mythology is connected to Egyptian mythology and African mythology in general, and just universal facts about what is ideal and who's reacting to it and why, right? You have Hellenistic culture with the Greeks, right? You have Greek societies in college, where Greek is like the word geek. A nerd or a geek in the dictionary is said to be foolish and contemptible. And another definition is worthless, boringly studious, versus what is ideal. So you have false idols who are responding to what is ideal. And a demon has also been defined as a skilled performer. So they're putting on a show, right? The theater of war, propaganda. That's why they're also using these news reporters. Okay. It also goes back to the idea of a new world order, right? It's an order, like law enforcement covering, being concerned with law and order. And the word law is the word wall. So they're blocking one order and they're trying to create another. And the word draw is the word ward spelled backwards. So they're warding moral precision and they're drawing immorality and greed. And the word greed is like the word Greek. So as we look at the wordplay involved, we know for sure that that's the case. We know from police code, we know from Masonic wordplay, we know from gang code, military code, breaking code, the Enigma decoder, the long history of codes being used in society by various groups that are very significant when it comes to the orders of society and the process of maintaining or creating orders in society. So when we're talking about this case, we have to first look at the motive and what is going on, the context. The motive, the philosophy behind it. Also, when the person they took a picture of the person and they looked like they're marching in a way that was a military-like and martial art-like, right? Because you also have martial law, which deals in militaries controlling a state, okay, as they suspend the Constitution or the laws of the state, what have you. And to marshal means to order and to arrange. So these things are arranged events that have to do with the social order for the purpose of ordering things and arranging things. Okay, you see how these connections are solid. There is no serious detective that would ignore these connections. These connections aren't just something that's like happenstance or coincidence. They are solid connections. The main motive, I would say, has to do with people being control freaks, and freaks goes back to sexual behavior, and the fact that the word prepare is pre-rape scrambled, and the main deed of Western culture historically, Zeus in his Roman form, Jupiter. Okay, Zeus was symbolized by the eagle of Rome, the eagle of America, the eagle of Babylon, what have you. Okay, the main motive is organized rape by deception. That's why the false image of Christ is Serapis, and Serapis' name is a play on words for is rapes. So these are people who use forcible rapes to confuse you about the main form of rape, which is rape by deception, which has to do with controlling how people think, right? Government, ment meaning mind, as in the word mental or mentality. So the mentality of people leads them to have sex in ways they otherwise would. Otherwise wouldn't. And that goes back to the 50% divorce rate. Why is there a 50% divorce rate? It's a symptom of a rape by deception society. Well, how do we get there when it's very easy to see what's ideal and what isn't? What is moral and what isn't? What is fair and what isn't? What is honorable and what isn't? How did we get to that point? We got to that point from generations of social engineering, of psychological control, of organized social control. Okay, and the word control has the word con in it, as does the word consent. Because it's right there in the Latin roots. It's right there in the word itself. And so as they define the process and the procedures and the protocols of governing class, trickle down confusion, trickle down deception, right? Zeus is also a deity of confusion. So it goes back to the con and the fusion, to merge together, right? The two become one flesh, they become fused. So it's a con that is taking place that has disastrous consequences, right? Consequences, right? The ram, right? The Baphomet, ramifications, okay? And only a lunatic would think that these things are not connected. Even the word romantic has the word Roman in it and the word tick in it. And semantic, right? Because part of how they confuse you is with the wordplay and the semantics. So by now you should see what the motive is behind these mass shootings, right? It's for confusion, for financial control, and with an emphasis on sexual control. Excuse my French real quickly, but we'll end by saying this. As they say, Satan is said to be the god of this world, and pussy makes the world go round, and money makes the world go round. Thank you.